And now a reading from the Ron Carnage Chronicles, The Chronicles, Volume 2, Chapter 1, Ron Carnage Goes to Mucklebuck.
The Mucklebuck mine had collapsed a little more than a century and a half earlier, killing most of the workers inside. Perhaps obviously, it was devastating to the town, of which there isn't much left. This leaves our heroic trio with the peculiar task of finding and navigating an abandoned mine and retracing steps they'd taken no fewer than 300 years ago. First, they had to get back to Mucklebuck. Since it was deserted, several editions of the world map had come and gone, confusing several current cartographers. In short, they had to start knocking on doors to find out if there was even still a correct direction to be headed in. They arrived at a roadside tavern a few dozen miles north along the river and, basically, began knocking on doors. "Come on in, gents," said the barkeep. "How can I help you this evening?" "We're looking for a town called Mucklebuck," said Levi, "or what's left of it. Can you point us in the right direction?" "Well, I've owned this place for quite some time, and I must say I haven't heard that name in ages," the barkeep said. "A mining town, yes. Decades of visitors, and no one's asked me that." "Decades, huh?" said Flappy. "Man, if these walls could talk."
Author's note. The following is what those walls, if they could talk, would say in this moment. $50 he is able to climax before he passes out drunk this time, the ceiling might say. "Oh, is it Sunday? Already?" the wall might reply. "I don't know, man. He's really been crying a lot when he does it lately. I will place my usual bet that he passes out before bringing it home, but let the record show that I don't feel good about it." "All right, you're on, but point taken, the ceiling might say. "Look, he's just talking to them, all normal, real casual," the wall might say. A black light would just put this place right out of business. Also, it sucks being a wall." "Yeah, life can be pretty hard sometimes, but I think you're a stand-up guy," the ceiling would say. "Hey, thanks, man," the wall would say.
"Well, fellas, I wish I could help you. I just don't know very much about Mucklebuck. I was born in this bar, and I haven't done very much traveling in my life," the barkeep said. "Haven't heard much about it, for reasons you all seem to already be aware of, but I'm rambling at this point. Anyway, I was just about to close up for the night. There's a bar a few miles up the road that might help. I know a lady that owns the place, and for a couple coins, she'll put you guys up for the night." "Hey, that's a big help. Thank you, sir," said Levi. "What'd you say your name was? Ron? Could you flip the sign on the door and blow the candle near the doorway on your way out?" said the barkeep. "Certainly," said Ron. "Best of luck to you, chap." The trio was on their way once more. Back in the tavern, the barkeep pulled down his pants, laid on top of the bar, and started to drink. "Why'd you leave me, Ron, huh? Why'd you leave me all alone?" the barkeep cried to himself while sipping brandy. A bit farther down the road, the men arrived at the place where they'd eventually spend the night. The owner, as predicted, let them come in for a drink and a light snack and a bit of shut-eye for a small fee. After a few rounds, Ron and Levi went upstairs to turn in, leaving Flappy in the bar with the barkeep, who was several decades his senior. "Wow," said Flappy. "You've been running this place for 60 years? Man, oh man, if these walls could talk."
Author's note. The following is what those walls would say if they, in fact, could talk at this very moment. "I don't think any of them knew what she meant by a small fee," the ceiling might say. "I don't think he cares," the wall might reply. "I think he's kind of into it." "Do you think the other two know? Like it was a pre-made decision before they came in?" the ceiling might say. "If it was, he volunteered," the wall would say. "I don't think I've ever seen anyone take off their clothes that fast," the ceiling would say. "Also, it kind of sucks being a ceiling." "Hey, life can be pretty hard sometimes," the wall might say. "But I just want to say thanks for always covering me, man. You're a good person." "Hey, thanks, man," the ceiling might say.
Want to start the show?
Let's do it. Yeah, so I noticed that you always do a little bit ad-libbing when you're reading. I'm like trying to follow along, and I'm like,
"Oh, yeah.
Well, what the hell?"
Trying to make it sound conversational, because I'm not that great of a reader. Whether it's aloud or to myself, I'm usually pretty slow, so...
Right, yeah.
Trying to get the gist of what they're saying and make it smooth for the sake of the program, Tom, of which there are now 50 episodes.
Oh, wow.
As I speak.
It's crazy.
Happy midway to the centennial point.
Damn. You too, man. Is this the golden episode? Is that what it is? 50?
I don't know, but it sounds nice.
I'll look into it. I know there's like names for all the anniversaries and whatnot. I think it is 50 though.
Okay, I like that. 5 golden rings. That's not right, but For those who are just joining us this week, and you haven't listened last week, it's episode 49. We talked about Tom DeLonge's new company. What's the name of it again, Tom?
To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science.
That's right. Anyway, we always usually end up talking about Blink-182 at some point, so it was definitely in our wheelhouse if you want to go check it out. But yeah, here we are, 50 episodes later. How's it going, man?
It's good, dude. I think perhaps that the apartment unit above ours is haunted.
Okay.
So listeners, longtime listeners, I guess, would know, I think it was like 10 episodes ago, my awful neighbors upstairs moved out, and we were pretty sure that no one was up there, and that was confirmed today when I saw one of the leasing agents like showing the apartment. There were some people out on the balcony, asking questions. So no one lives there, but often at like 2 or 3 in the morning, I just hear hammering at the floor. And I can't imagine maintenance is redoing carpet at 2 or 3 in the morning. And I think it's just fucking haunted. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, if I've ever seen a movie, and I've seen several, a good haunted or like a good scary thing always starts with people hanging around asking questions. So if people were on a balcony asking questions, that seems like something might be up.
Okay.
Granted, it was probably just about like leasing terms, but you can never be too sure.
Could be some foul play there.
I don't know. People just curious, man. A lot to cover. What kind of bangs are they? Noises, voices?
It's like hammering. Like someone is hammering a
because that's not an easy haunt noise. You know what I mean? That's pretty direct sound.
Yeah,
that you can pretty easily identifiable.
Well, I've been wanting for a while to do a haunted experiences episode. This is not that episode, but hammer. No, we've got bigger things to cover. It is.
Oh, geez, no, dude, too much pressure already. There are other things that will get talked about, but I don't know if they're big things.
They're huge things. They're
okay.
Huge.
Fine.
They're the biggest things. They're the best things. Everyone says I have the best things.
Are lots of people saying that?
Yeah, everyone. Just ask.
Well, all right. So should we wait until next week to talk about your haunted neighbor, or?
I guess so, because
you're probably more level-headed than I am about that stuff, though, because I would have probably cried by now on the recording. Just bringing it back up. That sounds terrifying.
What, haunted experience?
Not to mention an inconvenience, getting woken up by real or ghost hammers, isn't fun.
It's so fucking annoying, dude. Like, it's happened probably half a dozen times at this point in the past couple weeks. Like, I'm a heavy sleeper. Like, I'll have full conversations and still be asleep,
Oh, nice.
Thunderstorms, sleep right through it. But there's just this incessant banging and hammering and sounds like bowling balls. And like, we had that before, but I knew that people lived there, right? But like, now there's nothing hung on the walls. You can see through it up there. Just no one lives there. Why are there sounds coming from an empty apartment?
I don't know. I just keep thinking to be frustrated and with like a lack of sleep and getting woken up, but also fearful would be just the worst mixture of emotions.
Yeah, it's
like
bad.
Hangry sounds good because it fits together well, like when you're hungry and angry at the same time.
Right.
But to be fearful and frustrated, like full of freer, it's hard to say.
Freer?
It doesn't work. I'm annoyed just saying it and not even experiencing it.
And you're sleepy, so you're freerpy.
That's right. And which is just a GD shame. I won't cuss, so the editing later is easier for you.
Oh, thank you.
Gosh darn piece of bullshit. But well, I wish you the best. I hope it's not ghosts.
I kind of hope it is.
You're more of an aliens guy anyway, right?
I'm probably more a ghost guy because I worked at. So we're slipping right into the haunted episode.
We can say okay. Finish your thought, then we'll keep it moving. This is just a teaser to our eventual haunted episode, Aliens and Ghosts, and I end up being me not sleeping for a long time.
I have more experiences with ghosts, but I have seen UFOs.
So you have, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is just the teaser.
And I don't drink and I don't do drugs.
So. All of those stories.
It's gonna be a good one.
Okay, we'll do that next week. We'll do that next week. But
yeah,
Matt, Julie, Caitlin, Tom, Aaron, all the Aarons, the crew, I should say.
Kyle.
Yes, indeed, Kylie. I could go on. It's nice that it's hard to remember most of them at this point. It's been a fun ride, but we wanted to take a look back at the best moments in reminiscent history. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So yeah, we started the show. I think we started recording like some trial episodes well over a year ago, but the first episode that airs was recorded I think a year ago, either today or I think it was a year ago today. We're recording on Tuesday the 7th.
Were you still in Virginia when we started?
So the first, like, the episode we talked about Nickelback, which is when we were referencing that's where Mucklebuck came from.
Oh, right.
That was in Virginia. That was like a year and 2 months ago, or a year and a month ago. I remember posting something about that.
We just laid like 3 or 4 hours down, right? And just tried to get the audio levels right.
Yeah, like until it hurt to talk. We did 3 throwaway episodes, probably 6 hours total. Maybe 7. I haven't even listened to 2 and 3 since. Which ended, yeah. But we recorded like the first actual episode, which I think it was titled "How Long Until You Overdose" or something. And we released that and episodes 2 and 3 later in November, but we started recording the day after I moved to Colorado.
I think my favorite part of the show, or this experience, or one of them, because we'll get to way better stuff, but at first, for whatever reason, one of our running gags was in relation to the band The Monkees, Monkees.
Right.
So it would end up in a lot of show titles and show notes. So, like, there's got to be like dozens of like disappointed fans of The Monkees that downloaded the podcast thinking it was like, I don't know, like a Beatles knockoff appreciation podcast or something, and just nothing even close. Like, gets mentioned once or twice throughout the existence, but it was a nice downloads bump, and we've tried it a couple times since to try to replicate the success of just saying the word monkeys. But it's like there was just like dozens of downloads from California, just people just curious and very upset immediately. Like, oh man, sorry guys, wish we could give you what you wanted, but
yeah. So like, when we first started, we were seeing like an average of like maybe 60 downloads an episode, which again, you never know like if they're actually real or not. It came up in my time hop yesterday that we had that hit of like 1,800 downloads in like a day, and they ended up all being
the bot week.
Yeah, so they were all from like a bot in Boston that were all playing it on like Mozilla. And ever since then, I don't trust anything. Like, the only way I know that people listen is because some people actually talk to us about it.
Right.
But that
Which, if you're new to the show, we're on Twitter at _reminiscent FM.
Right, _reminiscent FM.
Right.
We like chatting with you guys.
Yeah.
And we actually do it a lot. It's honestly my favorite part of this whole thing.
I don't think we'll ever fall out of love with our first Twitter friend, Matt Pollock, a very friendly Canadian man.
Right.
But being given a run for our money on that statement would also be a joy. It would keep Matt honest, which is nice, which he needs to be kept in line, I think. He's kind of a motherfucker some days. But, new friends are good too, so...
But talk with Julie quite a bit on there, which is nice.
Yes.
Yeah. But what was I saying?
I'll never forget the first question she asked. Actually, I do forget it immediately now that I bring it up. It was something about like an all-time low cover, or no, it was one of those types of bands covering Hamilton.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember if she was asking if I recommended it or what we thought. And I think I gave such shitty feedback. I'm surprised she still listens to the show, but it was like, it sounds like what you think it would sound like. Like, it's like, how's that song sound? It's like, it sounds the way it should. Or I don't know. It's like, really? How much? Like, how little thought did you put into this, you son of a bitch? It's like, sorry, Julie. But she's been a participant ever since. It's good to have her in the gang.
I remember what I was going to say. That Monkeys episode has like 350 downloads on it, which is like...
Right.
With the exception of this past week, we have a steady stream of 25 downloads. The Tom DeLonge one has hit almost 60, which is a lot of fun.
Right.
But
the doldrum weeks are when it's your family members mostly carrying the ship. But it's nice to be climbing back up now that we're both kind of settled in our new cities and whatnot.
Yeah. I a lot of things have taken a back seat as I'm just trying to crank out all the shows that we do. Like, we have 4 shows coming out this week, and we're, starting to get Captain and Admiral off the ground. It's like I'm doing I'm half-assing too many things right now, I feel like. That is the show with Kyle and Kylie, the
oh, no way.
Nintendo video game show. Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. That is really cool.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
Because this show was supposed to have ended by now.
Yeah, like their show was an idea before this show was.
Yeah, it was like when you thought of the network, it involved their participation, right?
It was like the first show I wanted on it. Yeah.
Right.
So the stars kind of finally started aligning, and
right. Like, it took you 3 hours of us talking to work out the audio levels. So like the purpose of this show's existence has already, for about a year now, been already overblown. So
I mean, not quite the audio levels. It was, to try to learn how to properly mix a show, which I still feel like I'm so far off, and every show sounds so bad. How to, all that stuff. That I wanted to make the mistakes on this show so that we'd be ready by the time someone like them comes on board. And I feel like
you feel that task has been achieved.
Yeah, I mean, the network has almost 90 episodes out. Between this, Ad Astra and Straight Up, there's almost 100 episodes.
Right, and so, I know I mentioned our Tom DeLonge episode, but Ad Astra's they took a road trip for the eclipse when it happened a few months ago.
Right.
That's probably, if you wanted to start with their program, it's like a space policy. They talk about Mars a lot. It's a lot of fun, but their eclipse episode is pretty top notch material.
Yeah, they they just pump out such good stuff. Like, it's...
Yeah, they landed... Who was the Bill Nye correspondent for his Netflix show? Emily something?
Emily Calandrelli, yeah.
Yeah, like, that's an example of the guests they have. It's honestly a quality space podcast. I'm sure one of these weeks it's going to explode. I'm sure they'll get Neil Tyson on there at some point.
I hope so. That's the goal, getting Neil and Bill. Bill Nye and Andy Weir, author of The Martian.
Do they have master's degrees, or... I mean,
one master's and one PhD.
Right. So it's not just like fans of Star Wars that contemplate lightsabers. They get down. I mean, they talk some serious space, which is, I think you might have started this network just to listen to them talk about that while you edit, because you're a fan of that topic in a big way.
Yeah.
So it's just like, seems like gravy that you get to edit those every week almost.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Newton, he's a PhD computer scientist working in aerospace defense with a NASA contractor. And Jack has a master's in public policy with his concentration in space policy. And he is the event coordinator for the Planetary Society, which is like one of the biggest space advocacy groups that, what's his name? Super famous science communicator. Bill Nye is the CEO now. It was started by Carl Sagan.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he's like,
I would have said ooh for whatever name you said, but Sagan deserves the ooh for sure.
So he's like the DC outreach, community outreach guy or event coordinator for like DC, which is where everything happens. Like they're both fucking experts. Like, you couldn't ask for better people to be hosting a show on space policy and tech, So
let me ask you this. We are the house show, I guess, right? Or whatever.
Sure,
Just if you're here, you're a fan of the network anyhow, and we appreciate your presence. But give me the elevator pitch for people who have been waiting maybe for the Nintendo show. Give me like... Yeah, the elevator pitch. Let's hear it. What's going on? What's coming up?
This is what we're working on in pre-production. Like, we're trying to get like the mission statement or a bio done. Artwork is being made. Trying to figure out, are we doing segments? Are we going to have...
They have a like they have a real deal Instagram following, or Kylie does, right? I mean,
Yeah,
these aren't just fans. These are people who are passionate and have dedicated, their 10,000 hours or whatever to the topic. So they're going to be discussing video games or what?
Again, that's what we're kind of figuring out. I mean, their passions are video games. Kylie is a product photographer working with Nintendo. Dude, I stayed at their house on the move out to Colorado, and it's like a museum / shrine to all things video game. It's crazy. Like they're the real deal. I don't think we are ready for the elevator pitch yet because we're still figuring it out.
Okay. Well, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
no, it's fine. I mean, essentially the goal is to.
Does your gut tell you it's going to be more game reviews or more just chatter of like topics like discussing how Rosebud was a cheat code in The Sims and the weird shit people used to abuse it with or for?
I love that. Kyle, you can use that free of charge. But they want to make it personal. Like I've talked to Kyle about, we did a bonus episode about Metroid Samus Returns, and he discussed like how that game impacted him emotionally and like as a person and as a gamer. And I think that from what I've discussed with Kyle, he wants to, if they're going to do a review of a game, be its own independent episode, but they want to talk about games and how it's like in their personal lives. They want to do like question and answers with like Kylie's following, because her followers / friends are really into what she does, and there's a lot of people who also want to do what she does. So she wants to, have another platform to interact with them. It's kind of
sounds nice.
The plan, yeah.
Well, hopefully I could just Google this, but tell me whether or not there was a Sasquatch in the California hills in the show San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto. We always looked for one because we had heard there was a Sasquatch. This was like kind of pre-Google. Maybe not pre, but we were just teenagers drinking Mountain Dew. Like, it wasn't worth Googling. We figured we'd just ride the motorcycle through the mountains for like hours. But that's the only question I want answered from them. I know that has nothing to do with what you just said or described their show to be, but I need answers. The world needs answers. I would say I'm more of a squatcher than an alien or a ghost guy, if I had to say.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Not much of a chupacabra guy, but I want to believe there's a Sasquatch. I really want to, yeah. Aliens, it's more of a respect. It's more of a, if you can hear me, then I'm not going to with your shit. Please don't petrify me. I'm an asthmatic, so I don't think my DNA is what you're looking for. I'm by no means an ideal human host or candidate or just please, dear God, leave me alone. Just pure fear. And ghosts, I don't know. I'm really bad. I'm more jumpy, but also curious. But yeah, haunted houses are not for me. No. But yeah, we should do a Sasquatch episode.
Let's do all of them.
All of them.
For this episode, let's try to get refocused. The best moments of Reminiscent. Let's jump into it right now. So,
I think I was going for a melody there, but I stumbled while reaching for my phone.
Oh, it's all right, man.
For my own bop-a-pause.
I mean, I use pitch
a
correction.
Episode.
I use pitch correction on our bop-a-pause, so
okay, cool. Appreciate it.
It's all right.
As long as it doesn't end up sounding like a Blue's Clues, then I think we won't get sued, which is good.
So what is your absolute, or do you want to go with number one out of the gate, or do you want to build up to it? Well,
I want to just apologize to everybody for the Scrubs episode because it was just you and I, because we're friends, in case anybody hasn't, I guess, gleaned that from our past 50 endeavors here, who both loved the show. And we just kind of talked as if we were at a bar discussing the show instead of actually coming prepared with like best Todd moments or best Eagle flies. Right. You know what I mean? We just were just like, oh, that show's so funny. Yeah, nice, dude. Hey, talk to you next week, dude. And it was just an hour of that. And I think that's definitely my biggest regret is totally botching the Scrubs episode. And I want to take all the blame for that. But that is definitely, I don't know if it's my top 10 best moments, but it's definitely my top 10 notables from the first 50 episodes. But I'll flip that on. Well, actually, I want your thoughts on it, but I wanted to flip that on its ear and have you also react to what ended up becoming a Taylor Swift versus Katy Perry feud episode, which we totally unprepared reeled off like 50 strong minutes of like fan theory and timeline, putting it under a microscope and things like that.
And then you drunk live tweeted the Katy Perry documentary.
Yes.
Which was awesome.
Which I felt was appropriate research for the program and the network. I tried to find something on Taylor Swift after that to keep it even. But I ended up just watching like the first third of the first show on her Red tour, and she looks so nervous, so young. So much has happened. Anyway, yeah, definitely. The Katy Perry movie is worth drinking like too much wine to and just kind of watching. It was a tough year. It was the biggest year of her life, but it was also the worst. You know, The Marriage, her best, like crazy good album. There's like 5 hits on that album. Like her first big stadium tour. Russell Brand was being a wiener. And it's just like, man, if each of those like major life events would have just spaced themselves out a little bit, then we wouldn't have had to sit through the Swish Swish music video that dropped this earlier this year, which is pretty cringe worthy. But I feel for you, Katie. Honestly, I just we're gonna dive right back into it. But go listen to the episode; it was pretty good. I can't just. Did we make a decision about who wins? I think we just were like pleading with Taylor Swift to stop being mean, just like both make music for us to enjoy.
Yeah, I don't know if we came to. I think I picked Taylor, you picked Katie.
I think maybe only after I watched the movie. I don't know. I think I just felt bad for Katy Perry after watching the movie. Like, oh come on, guys, she went through some shit. Anyway, We'll have to do a part 2 of follow-up in between the ghost, alien, and Sasquatch episodes. But
anyways, what I have to say about the
definitely
Scrubs
before the Bop episode.
What was that?
Definitely before the Bop episode where we cover the history of scatting.
Okay. So what I have to say about the Scrubs episode is I have no regrets because this is our show and I don't care about what anyone thinks about it.
That's fair.
I had fun, but yes, it definitely could have been better because we just rambled for like 50 minutes.
So long.
And you're China.
I know we, which is a good favorite scene to have. I'll give you that. I know we're definitely kind of saying "f it" because if we were basing this off of our interaction with the world at all, we would have actually become that Monkeys fan club podcast that we should have and just taken the hint in episode 3. Like, wow, we could become like moderately podcast famous if we just dedicate the rest of our lives to discussing the Monkeys.
On the market, yep.
Which I kind of want to because the Screen Gems Network was something like our local Fox station picked up in the mornings before school back in Erie. So we would watch Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie and the Monkeys and things like that. So I have some hot takes, some reasonably hot takes. Maybe if we ever do a Monkeys episode, I'll give it my all for sure. But,
okay, I'll have to do some more research.
Indeed, but yeah, sorry to our Scrubs fans who were let down by us just kind of having a phone call together, which I guess was half of the first 50. 25 of them were probably just that. Now that I think about it,
right? Yeah. And in regards to the Taylor Katy episode, I'm just astonished that we had that much material. I think early on in the episode, I said, we only have like 5 minutes of stuff we could possibly talk about. And then like an hour later, we're still on it.
Right. And then it kind of made me think like, am I upset or really glad? Like, we had a lot of fuel for that fire. Like I guess this was a topic Tom and I have been waiting years to lash out.
And I never knew. And I feel like there's something to be proud about with that. Because there's been episodes where we plan to have this, discussion, then we're in it and we realize after 5 minutes we have nothing else to talk about. So
right.
It was
good. There was the episode where we had a plan and we ended up just coming up with Ron Carnage instead.
Right. Which is my favorite thing that's come out of the show, I think.
Okay. I would love for you to elaborate.
We'll talk a little. Let's save that for the end.
Okay. Well, how do you feel about the Blink-182 episode? which I know
That
we all talk.
Yeah,
go
that
ahead.
episode haunts me because I think I put California, or what was that album called, as number 3, their most recent one. Ooh.
I mean, we really went at it for a while during that episode. It's kind of coming back to me now. I think some things were said.
I think I definitely... Is it called California, their new album?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
Looking back, I don't think it has a place in the top 5. I'm sorry.
Well, you can make the argument that it's not the same band, which these are topics we covered during the episode. So,
right.
Do you remember what it was called by chance?
I think it was originally called The Most Important Episode We'll Ever Do, and then we changed it to the Blink-182 special because we realized SEO is important.
Right. Again, this is like 24 episodes after the Monkeys thing even happened. Like, at what point were we going to start taking notes or not? You know what I mean? Like, of course, the SEO is important, I guess, at that point. But
that was, Oh my God, episode 13, the Blink-182 special.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Damn. That was early on.
Wow.
I think a fun moment for me was the kind of not our first sponsored episode, but the episode where we weren't sure how to work in like an ad and somebody had given us free wallets to the show.
Right.
What was the brand again?
The whipping post.
That's right. So there was these like nice leather wallets, and you and I just felt so guilty. Like, again, in media, in business or whatever, just totally normal. Like, hey guys, yeah, sure, man. You know, like they were so cool about it. Like, just mention it. And you and I like just spent kind of like a whole episode, like 40 minutes, just like trying to not just overtly compliment, but we definitely spent a lot of time on those fucking wallets.
So the whole idea of that episode was we were going to get like 5 different wallets each and then do an episode on wallets. But they were the only company that sent anything, and we promised them a wallet episode, so we were kind of locked into doing a whole episode on them.
Right, okay.
I didn't
really like the episode or the wallet. I could see the appeal, and it was thin, which I like, which is kind of the only criteria. But I felt bad because I was like, I wouldn't buy this. But they were so nice to us that I don't know. It was definitely. I think it was kind of probably a train wreck, but it was fun.
So I love the wallet, right? And I had a lot to say about it. I could tell that you were just like, yeah, it's like a fucking wallet, like whatever.
It's a thin wallet, which passes my test. Cool, moving along. Yeah.
Right.
The leather seems real, like, but it also could not be. I have no fucking idea. Like,
but here's the good thing, you know, Matt actually went out and bought one of their wallets afterwards. Did I tell you that?
No, that's really cool though. We'll have Matt write us, and we'll discuss his thoughts on the wallet.
He's been pretty silent lately, man. I'm starting to feel like, damn, have we gotten that off the rails that even like our best listener just doesn't give a shit anymore? I don't know, man.
No, there's just more to handle, but there's always be a place for Matt.
I don't know, man. Just kidding. Yeah. So the wallet
episode. We don't have to get sad. We could reach out. We can bring him on the show. I mean, all these things are doable.
Just miss him, dude. I get fucking lonely. So yeah, we got the wallets. I got that free watch, which was dope.
Yes, I did not get a watch. And
yeah, sorry. I thought about selling it because, to be honest, it doesn't keep time very well.
I guess was a reflection of the show at the time as well. Like the products were about the same like quality of the show at the time. Like, hey, we got a bunch of products, folks. Wallets, they're thin. Watches, they fit around your wrist. It's about all we can say. Next week, we're going to talk about like 3 quotes from the entire series of Scrubs for about an hour. Most of it's going to be laughter, and it'll be a waste of all of our time. But
anyway. God. So
you got engaged on one of the episodes. That was
I did. That was fun. And I brought Megan on for one of the episodes, and it was the most awkward like 45 minutes of my life.
Oh, really? I have not listened to that.
So
what episode?
I just felt uncomfortable because it was the first time we recorded like in a room together, and I just felt like she was like staring into my soul, and I was like, oh God, like I just felt she made me feel nervous. Like I never feel like that with her, but I just felt like she was like so like dominating. Like I don't know, dude, it was weird.
Was it a pretty good episode?
I was really concerned about it. Going into the edit. But all the insecurities did not reflect in the audio recordings, and it turned out pretty well, actually.
Nice. Yeah, there was a few weeks there where I was moving and trying to get a new job, moving from Cleveland to Cincinnati, and you flew solo for a couple weeks, but I
like
think 7,
5.
Yeah, I was hoping it was more like 2, but yeah, you're probably right. 5 sounds about right.
I'm glad it's over, man. It wasn't super stressful, but I missed you a lot. I miss doing like the normal thing.
It has become a nice little tradition.
Yeah. I do you feel like I feel like I remember the first 10 episodes perfectly, and then everything between like 10 and 49 is just gone from my memory. Like, so my sister listens, and I was like telling her something. I saw her over the weekend in Denver, and
nice.
I was like telling her something. She's like, yeah, I heard on the show. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I had no idea what she was talking about. She's like, yeah, the episode where you talked about this? I was like, no, like, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, most of it's, I don't remember most of it because I don't listen too often. But sometimes when I'm driving, I'll go back and find a show just to, hear your edits and some of the music that you put into it. And, yeah, most of it's a blur. I just looking through the titles today, I was like, oh yeah, we did a Blink-182 episode. Like, if you asked me before I looked today, I would have been like, it sounds right. Like Scrubs and Blink would have been 2 of the topics covered pretty quickly. But there was the time we did a Desert Island episode, like what 5 albums, what 5 movies, etc.
Right.
And we posted it, and everyone just kept asking if I was okay.
Yeah,
like if I was. Hey,
everything was so dark.
Yeah, it was, I guess. I thought it was pretty normal.
I was so unprepared for that episode because when you said Desert Island, like 5 things, I was thinking like just 5 total things, but you meant like 5 TV shows, 5 albums, 5, I was like, oh my God, like I was so caught off guard.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because I like the movie High Fidelity so much, and they have like top 5, they just discuss and have reasons for their top 5s, and it's just, I enjoy talking about it. Maybe we can do another one where you're more prepared, perhaps.
Yeah, because I feel like my album choices, I need to take everything back except Enema of the State. Like
some of those, listening to Moose Blood that week.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I had a feeling. Maybe we can go and amend that. But yeah, no, it wasn't going to be like, would you bring a file or would you bring flint and steel?
Right.
So there's a goat and a rabbit and an alligator, and you only have one boat, and you can only go across the river 3 times, or whatever the fuck the riddle is. Let's just do island themed or water themed riddles for the next hour.
I'm into it.
There was the week you introduced me to Julian Baker, and everything changed for me.
Which we got a little bump yesterday on that episode again because she has a new album that came out.
Yes.
And Julian Baker was in the episode title. So I think there might have been something there. Like iTunes pulled her name when people were searching, which just goes to show we should really put a lot more thought into our episode titles.
Oh, fundamentally. Yes. No, 50 episodes later, it's nice to kind of take stock of, this is becoming more of a meeting of like the Elemental team than anything, but so our apologies for that. The episode I probably liked the most was the one after my grandma died, and we went over Joanne's rules for leading a fulfilling life. I think that actually was a pretty good episode.
Episode 11, if I remember correctly.
Man, that was a while ago.
I don't know why I remember. Wow, it is episode 11. I remember the first edit of that show said "f***" and it was unedited, and I was listening in the car, and when I heard, I was like, "Oh my God!" Like,
oh no,
freaking out.
Why do we bleep? Just because?
I don't know. To be honest, I was thinking about it the other day because straight up, we allowed our first swear word through. And I started thinking, like, we're not going to add, like, I was thinking if it ever we're ever able to advertise, it's easier if it's clean. But just because we beep stuff out doesn't mean it's appropriate.
It's easier if you have a certain number of listeners, right? I mean, it's not whether you swear.
Well, yeah, I think some people are probably some companies might be a little more conservative when it comes to language, but we can bleep out as many things as we want. We still talk about like dicks and balls.
I kind of like
stuff.
the sound of the bleep in the show also.
Me too. It definitely takes a bit more work, especially I remember a couple episodes ago, I think we had over 90 swear markers in the episode. That took some time, but
yeah, we were letting them rip. That's why I said that's why I held back earlier, Tom. It's all for you.
Oh, thank you.
So I think and we'll get to some of our segments in a minute, but I wanted to now that we're 50 episodes in and a year later, how's your life? Are you going to move? Are you going to stay? What's going on, man? Because this kind of started as not a Gen Y therapy sesh, but that's kind of what it is, right? Is people,
right? Yeah,
friends in their mid-20s in different cities working through pretty. I don't know. This is kind of when everything happens, I guess, right? Like,
yeah,
from age 25 to 35, there's some stuff that usually occurs for most people. So,
yeah, I think if I were to pick a time to start a podcast, I don't think I could have possibly picked a better one. It has been the biggest transition period of my life. Moved across the country, was unemployed, trying to find a place to live and a job all at once in a new place where I didn't know anyone, got engaged. A lot of other like huge things have happened. Some things I've refrained from actually talking about on the show. And now I'm applying for other jobs. We tried to buy a house. Maybe we want to move. Megan wants to like go to Asheville or something. Like I'm not ready to go yet. I said I want to give Denver at least 3 years.
Damn.
I know, but like I don't know, man. I don't think it's everything we hoped it would be, but I think a lot of that you can probably
it's nice to be out west though. Even if only for a little bit.
It is. I think a big part of the problem is that we're both broke, don't have like a ton of friends, and have both been kind of depressed since we moved here because we're not, we both want to be self-employed and independent, and I hate my job. I hate the apartment we live in. There's a lot of things that I'm feeling negatively about, which I could choose not to, I guess, and just make the most of it. But I've been kind of depressed and tired. My job is super physically intense, and on the weekends I don't ever want to go anywhere. So as far as like Denver, what Denver is to me right now is just a really expensive place to sit on the couch. I don't take advantage of like the mountains. Right. There's a really big nightlife that I don't give a shit about. Can't afford concerts. I think if I had some more money, I would like it more, and I don't think it's Denver's fault.
Well, I mean,
seeking other options.
Asheville, it might be cheaper, but it's also going to be full of, I don't know. I mean, there's like the places that are hip, and then there's places that are like totally cost efficient, right? I mean, like I feel like they'd be going from Denver to Austin or something. I don't know. I don't know that much about Asheville, but it's like that is one of the other super hip towns in the United States of America. But is it just a different place, or is it the place you would choose for reasons that are making you not like Denver, Right.
I mean, I kind of feel like I can live anywhere. I don't really care. I don't like go out much, and I don't know. I feel like I just want to be home running a podcast network. I can do that anywhere. I don't really care that it's really flat here, a little more Levi.
Well, and your dog Levi has been living as a fugitive in the city limits of Denver for some time now.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I hate the smell of weed, and it's just absolutely everywhere. But most of all, it's just everything is so expensive. Like when people said the traffic is bad here, I thought, oh well, it's nothing compared to DC. It is probably 90% as bad as DC in rush hour.
Yeah.
Like DC is just hard to get anywhere at any time, but like if you're in, rush hour here, it's just as bad, dude. It's awful. And I think like Colorado's like state motto is drive 30 miles an hour under in the left lane. It just makes me angry. I don't know, man. It's
Well, you went to one of the most the most booming city in the you could have gone to, I guess, New York or LA or Austin or Denver. I don't know, but it was an adventure that you needed to go on, I think. But I guess none of this seems super surprising. But I think you kind of knew that,
right.
Like the crazy cost and traffic. Like, well, yeah, I mean, like ever since they legalized weed, it's just been. I mean, like people that owned houses there, like are making their life like they're making the money they expected to make in their lifetime since so many people are just flocking, right? So
right.
I don't know. I will say this: Tom and I are going to record our first in-person episode in early December, and I'm going to sell you pretty hard. I will say that on Ohio. I just want you to be prepared for that because it's coming. It's fucking super coming.
I wouldn't care, dude. I can live in Ohio.
Not to mention that everyone you work with is already here. You know what I mean? Like you could literally, if you wanted to, and started making money on the network, open up an office here, and half the people you work with would be able to go to those offices. You know what I mean?
I know. I would move to Ohio just because it's inexpensive and I have friends there. Like,
right.
It's expensive and I don't have friends here. I don't even care. Like, I don't even care to make friends, dude. Like, I don't know, man. I don't really want to be in the East Coast, though. I want to be on the West Coast, but I don't want to pay a bunch of money to live in a small place.
Well, then you don't want to be on the West Coast.
I know, I know.
Like, do you even hear the words you say sometimes? Like,
I know. It's
I don't want to spend a lot of money, but San Francisco, LA, Seattle, Portland, Denver, it's like, hey, Tom, real quick, a couple notes about the geography.
Yeah. I know, dude. I think living within
what you should do is
5
move to
minutes of you is a dream. No.
What's that?
I think living within 5 to 10 minutes of you, again, would be an absolute dream because we took advantage of it when we were kids, dude. Like, we were at each other's houses all the time.
I know.
And Albuquerque, I hate the desert.
It's the high desert, Tom, so get f***ed. There's not even any cactuses, bro.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Cactuses are like an Arizona thing, so
I
don't
just
be poking holes in my hot air balloon, bitch.
I'm feeling super depressed and lonely, but that could happen anywhere where all I do is work 60 hours a week and don't see anyone.
Dude, just come.
Or go anywhere.
You're getting the Nintendo podcast off the ground. Just come to Cincinnati, see it through, and I don't know. It just feels nice. Sign the fucking D&D dudes to your network because they're here too.
They don't need me.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm just saying. Because then if you're here, Zach's definitely coming.
Oh yeah. That was the plan.
It was always the plan. Neither of us knew or thought it could have ever been Cincinnati, but
right.
Honestly, it's been a pleasant surprise. I guess my story is less interesting. I think when we started, I was doing it in a closet in Cleveland for like a while because I thought it'd be more soundproof, and I guess it was.
Yeah, it sounded great.
And then, eventually that it just stopped. Jessie, my girlfriend of several years, got a job in Cincinnati to kind of get out of New Mexico because she was planning to transfer out of New Mexico like a year before she did get out. So she took the first job in Ohio she could find. That was not in Cleveland, but that was something we talked about at length. And I just got really lucky. A job in my company opened up in Cincinnati, so I just scooted down a few months after she came back to Ohio. And like you said, we started recording at a very time when things were happening, and they will continue to happen, I'm sure. So it's been quite something. Anyway, things are better.
I want to, yeah, definitely. I want to ask you, you're not the one who usually opens up as personally and intimately and emotionally as I do, but I feel like you really got off the hook with me asking you anything about what it's like to live with a girlfriend for the first time. And there needs to be an episode about that. I will prepare my interview questions.
Okay, so you want an episode where you just grill me for an hour?
Yeah.
I think that actually might be a good episode. I'm down for it, but I'm allowed to behave annoyingly and dodge.
Okay.
I'm excited for the dynamic already of me dancing. Because I mean, spoiler alert, I'm happy. So like that's like right. Like no good art has ever come from being like things are working out. You know, like Edgar Allan Poe wasn't like, oh man, #blessed. Also, super dark. Lenore Ravens picking on God. You know, Baltimore's dope. I don't know, but yeah, it's been. I don't know. Should I just save what I'm about to say for when we do that?
No.
Okay. I don't know. I kind of view it now like, do you always get along with your sister?
Yeah, I guess so. Like now.
Okay. Like now is what I was looking for there. Do you always get along with your mom or your dad?
No. My dad, yeah. My mom, no.
What about your best friends? Like, has Zach always 100% of the time been somebody you always agree with and have never been like, oh, man?
There were a couple months we didn't talk to each other after 400 broke up.
Damn. We should have an episode about that.
There was a little bit of bad blood. It wasn't like that serious. I wasn't like, oh, that motherfucker. Like, it was never like that. But it was kind of like, oh, man. You know?
I would love to hear about this. I guess my point is I kind of view Jessie as, you know, she's part of the crew. She's fam now. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't expect... It's weird. It goes from being like, not that the flirtation's gone because we have a lot of fun together. Her sense of humor and the way she questions the world are something that I find deeply attractive, just kind of intellectually. But, you know, dishes are just a thing that people are going to always cause, I don't know, like they need to get done. And sometimes they get done quicker than others. And sometimes one person, you know, it's just, I think, so I tried to talk to a lot of people. I don't know. I'm just lucky to have a lot of friends and family that are willing to get asked shit, I guess, a lot. That's kind of, it's like, I don't ever pretend to really know anything, I don't think. That probably comes off different on the podcast, but I don't know, just kind of asked people what they thought and how their experience was. And so far it's been interesting when she asks me my opinion about like a pillow she's going to buy. And I just don't have one. Like, there's just isn't things for me to say because my feelings don't exist on that topic.
Wow, dude.
She grew up with one sister, and I don't think she really knew. I couldn't. I don't think she was hurt. She was just like nothing at all. I'm like, no. Like, go ahead, go nuts, go absolutely nuts. Like if you would have seen my Cleveland apartment, it looked honestly like a prison. Like I had nothing on the walls. Because I didn't want to end up paying I didn't want to lose any security deposit money for holes in the walls. So it was just like barren white plaster, like Rust Belt, purgatory or something. I don't know. It's just kind of like I had a couch and a dresser, and the TV was on top of that dresser. And I slept on an air mattress for like the first 8 months until it broke. Like,
right.
I don't know. Super minimalist, kind of by design because I was saving money flying back and forth from Albuquerque so often. But yeah, so kind of we haven't been butting heads. It's just like, do you care? It's like I don't. I honestly fucking just really don't. So get all the pillows. I don't care. But yeah, we've been kind of made the decision to start saving up for a house or a trip or other stuff. But we decided that, you know, there's 3 things that when you're 26, you're probably looking to do, and they all cost money. So
yeah,
we've been kind of trying to start saving up, and
right.
It's been all right. I don't know. I feel like I'm a good roommate. I feel like I've had plenty of roommates in my life, and I've seen a wide range of situations. And it's easy to be a good one, right? Like you just take care of your shit and do half the shit that's communal, and everything should work out, right?
Sure.
That's
It's that easy.
It does seem to me that easy, you know. Some of it's like, I ate cereal out of a bowl last night and I rinsed it and put it on the counter so I could just use it again because I don't want to dirty a second bowl tomorrow morning when I also have cereal. You know what I mean? And Jessie put it in the dishwasher and I was like, well, you know, does she assume, like, and again, this is just growing pain, mid-20s bullshit. I'm sorry for sounding like a damn asshole, but, you know, it's just like, you know, I'm not, obviously didn't leave a dirty dish on the counter literally a foot and a half, like 18 inches away from the sink's lip. You know what I mean? Like,
Is it that obvious though? Do you think she called her mom and was like, "This fucking guy"?
no, not at all. I texted her and I was like, "Hey, sorry, yeah, I should have, you know, that was just trying to cut down on the, you know, because more doing, we like, it's weird. Each of us wants to be green, but each of us are not green in certain specific areas. Like I always forget to bring a reusable bag to the grocery store.
Right.
And she calls me on that all the time. But then again, she'll, I don't need to call her out on specific things, but it's like, that doesn't fucking make sense. You know what I mean? Like, and I never question the other, you know, like lack of green efforts. Like, I don't know, but I seem to get called out on my using plastic bags a lot, which is fair. I do want to get better about it, but it's like, oh my God, okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. Just I don't know. It's kind of fascinating. I guess what's there left to be excited about? Like we talked about this on a few episodes ago, but we don't really hunt or gather anymore, or like survival's not a huge like stressor in the human experience anymore. So
Right.
it's just, I guess, what excitement is left other than learning how other people view what to do the damn thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, so you choose to consume this brand of what, I don't know, it's just like, that's neat, I guess. And 60 more years of just being alive, I guess. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's been good, man. And Jessie has helped with all the weird shit I just said, I guess.
Right.
She provides purpose and you know, is endlessly clever and funny. So it was a good thing to have met her, certainly. Otherwise, I don't know where I would be, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I'm really interested for when we're gonna record your engagement episode.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Thanks for chiming in and super. No, everyone's been real nice, but lots of people real curious. Lots of people have lots of thoughts about lots of things, and
Yeah.
it's good, man. No, I was talking to my parents the other day about just the topic, and they were like, well, this and this. I'm like, see, I haven't even said words yet, and you guys already have been talking for half an hour about bullshit that I never want, you know, like I never even would have thought, you know what I mean? It's like, when you talk about like wedding planning and things of that nature.
Oh God,
which
it's
you're in the middle
worst.
of. Right, but, you know, I just brought up the idea of like, well, you know, like this, it could have been, honestly, it wasn't this simple, but it could have been just me saying, well, weddings are neat, huh? You know, and then my parents are like 2 hours later, like, well, you gotta have them. It's like, okay, I appreciate what you guys are saying, but I think this proves my point, right? That even mentioning it to your own parents is stressful, right? Like mentioning the concept of it existing. And they're like, well, everyone's got so many opinions. It's like, can a man live? Damn. And,
well, let's save the rest of it for the interview.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to cut in because when you let me ramble, I always end up going to that dark bullshit place, and it's like no one wants to hear that anyway. So, it's like,
all right,
well,
so
I guess we exist, right? Like the dumb shit no one wants to hear. But
so we're reaching about an hour here.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. This has been, I think we've, if nothing else, a good housekeeping episode. To, you know, we'll definitely do a ghost, alien, Bigfoot episode, and we'll definitely do. You know what? Next week we'll do an episode where you just absolutely grill me for an hour about everything you wish I would have been super personal about on the episode over the past year.
All right,
I'll let you do that. I think it'd be decent radio.
All right. So let's extend an invitation to our listeners. A lot of times we talk about, you know, something we want to discuss maybe the day before, 2 days before. We'll think about it for 5 minutes and then just record. And if there's anything you want to hear us talk about, because I remember after like episode 10, I was like, oh my God, we're running out of things to talk about. How are we possibly going to do this? And you were like, fuck it, dude. Let's record to 300. And that's definitely where I'm at. Not that we're running out of ideas. Like whatever, let's just get on the phone and talk. But if there's anything you want to know, I don't know if maybe we can answer some questions, like if that's anything you'd be interested in. Or I know my sister had a lot of hot takes on the baseball team and the heist crew. She was really upset that she wasn't even on the baseball team. I thought that was a good thing because she hates sports. She was upset she was the driver of the heist team, so we might need to rework some of those. But I think we might almost have enough for a soccer team, so we should maybe start thinking about that.
Okay.
Or maybe, shirts versus skins, basketball team, little 2 teams there.
We can just wear different colored shirts also.
I'm not wearing a shirt.
Well, okay. There you go. The gauntlet doth been thrown down.
Didn't need to make that sexual. I was just, I guess
I'm just saying, like,
that's my bad.
You're a man that knows what he wants. No, I didn't mean it was sexual. I just meant like, well, Pat, quite frankly, I don't feel like wearing a shirt during this game. It's like, oh, well, honestly, your direct nature is, it's kind of like going into a boardroom and setting your testicles on top of the table. It's just like, this is how I feel about the whole shirt issue if we are to play this game of basketball. What would James Naismith have to say about this? That son of a bitch. Did he want us to wear shirts? Probably, because it was Peach Baskets hung at a YMCA, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, you don't have to wear a shirt. I hope you're not wearing a shirt right now. I hope you're just chilling.
I'm wearing 2 hoodies because I had to turn the heat off.
Nice.
It's like 58 degrees in here.
Balling on a budget.
And I think I'm getting sick because I had to work today and it was like 27 degrees and I can't afford pants, so I'm still wearing shorts.
Sounds pretty chill, dude.
We were working on a roof. It was a 47-degree roof and there was snow on it.
Pants?
Oh, I can't afford it, dude.
Go to TJ Maxx, dude. TJ Maxx is my new favorite thing.
Yeah, dude, but they don't have polyester blend skinny jeans there, so.
Okay, fair point, I guess, if that's even accurate. Like, f*** you, man. Like, you could just go find a $12 pair of pants if you're that cold, I guess is my point. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm just saying, there are things in this world you might have to sacrifice style for function or whatever. Like, I know there's a diva nature to the whole roofing game, but things that are technically pants are out there and they're available for purchase. Considering your health, of course.
So, again, we started this sentence with a point and it turned into something completely different.
Which is the show, I think, mostly is me just derailing your dreams in real time.
Oh, God. I don't know. I don't really know why people listen. I think mostly because they think you're funny. But if there's anything, yeah, just let us know. I definitely love the whole aspect of knowing that there's people listening, mostly just, our friends. But hell, yes. Man, it's fun. Let's do some more fun stuff together, I guess.
Yeah, it's been nice. What is your highlight of the week, my good sir?
Ooh.
Did you have to do your now you know?
Now you know. I do. And I just found this out, and I think it's just really interesting. I don't know all the science behind it, and usually I like to come more prepared with that kind of stuff. But I just found out that, so everyone has different blood types, and I'm not sure what determines that, which is probably some research I should have done beforehand. But there's a thing called RH incompatibility. And if there's a mother with a negative blood type and the baby has a positive blood type, which I don't know what would make it, do that. The mother's body can reject the forming baby because it thinks it's like a virus. So the negative blood type it would produce antibodies against the baby's red blood cells when the blood mixes, and it'll like attack it like it's a virus. And I think that is crazy. And why have we not evolved beyond that? It's been like hundreds of millions of years or something like that. I don't know. I thought that was wild, and I'm really curious about different blood types, what they mean, how they're determined, why it happens, all that stuff. But I thought that was crazy. Your mother's blood could have killed you.
Well, you know what, Tom? It didn't kill you. You're a fighter, apparently. No, just kidding. I don't want to get into that. I probably upset somebody just by commenting on something related to, the birthing process.
Well, I don't even know what my blood type is. Do you? Yeah, who cares, dude? Whatever.
I have given blood a few times. I should do it more.
I never have.
The dumbest thing to say of all time. Like, hey, I downloaded this podcast, and this guy, he said that he sometimes gives blood, but not all the time. And he wishes he did it more. And he's not aware what his own blood type is. Like, describing the least interesting, like, situation possible in American life.
Sorry. I've had tattoos.
I want to tell Julie and Matt that I'm just really fucking sorry, and that I'll do better. I'm sorry.
I've gotten a tattoo like every 6 months since I turned 18, so I don't think I've ever been actually able to give blood. But I'm not grossed out by needles, and I'm not grossed out by blood. But I remember when I had they thought I had mono, and they had to take a tiny vial of blood, like not even a needle full. And when that happens, dude, mono? I just lose my vision. I start to black out. I feel like my body is just on the cusp of like not having enough blood within it. So when you take the tiniest bit out, I'm like, oh God, like I can't hold my head up. It's and again, it's not because of the blood. It's not because of the needle. I think if I gave blood, I would pass out immediately. I feel like I'm running low. I don't know what the deal is.
What was I forget what the name of the charity event is called. It's not Light the Night, but it's a run/walk for, I think it's breast cancer. I don't know if it's specifically breast cancer, but it was happening at OU, and it was like you could give blood in this trailer that was along this like horse track, like rural horse track. And so I gave blood for the first time in this like medical, like very rural Ohio, like mobile unit. And then they gave me some candy, I guess. But the whole event involves walking around this track for like all night to raise money for research, I'm sure, but
sure.
Anyway, so I gave blood and then just continued to walk and tried to, like, basically exerting energy you're not supposed to. And then I went to on the way home, I couldn't stay all night because our dorm had won this like decorating contest, and we were going to Cedar Point the next day. So After giving blood for the first time, I walked like 4 miles, went to like one of my first college parties and drank, and just put alcohol into my blood system. And then on no sleep, went to Cedar Point, and then just like rode rides that whip your body around really quickly. And everything worked out okay. So after that, I was not that scared to give blood. And
Gotcha. Okay.
It's like,
well, damn. Do you want to go to highlight of the week?
I'd like that very much, Tom.
Do it.
Okay. I wasn't sure. We usually pause for the jingle, so I paused for the jingle. Don't call me out on that. It's called showmanship. It's called professionalism, Tom. Yeah. Did I already do the Columbus thing or the Halloween party thing?
You mentioned it. I don't know if it was a highlight.
Oh, okay. Well, then it won't be.
I think it was.
It was my birthday on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. And I almost missed it because you didn't say anything.
Right. I hate birthdays because I always forget them. So I always, I don't feel good on my own birthday because people say happy birthday and I'm like, and that's another person I did not say happy birthday to on their birthday. You know what I mean? It's just like a constant reminder of how bad of a friend and family member I am. Just kidding. That's a dumb way to look at the world. But that's how I feel. So I asked everybody this year what their birthday was, and I at least got the months written down, and I'm really going to try. I feel mostly bad for Zach and you and Kevin Lee and some of my close friends that, I never in a million years. Like, my sister texted me at midnight when it turned my birthday, and I was like, damn, that took some effort, and I have never done that for you, and I just feel so bad. Like, birthdays are not my thing. I've always been bad at it. That's a lot of brain space, though. I mean, Anyway, it was good. Wait, what are we saying? Oh, it's my highlight? Yeah, my birthday happened. I'm 27 now, and we went to this place called Jungle Jim's International Market near Cincinnati, and it was kind of a trip. And I had some whiskey at home, and we made some fish tacos at home, and we went out to the bar this Saturday night. I actually worked Saturday, and I didn't really enjoy my birthday weekend to the fullest, mostly because this weekend my parents are coming, and then for Thanksgiving weekend, Kevin Lee's coming, my dear friend from Erie. We're going to go to the Browns-Bengals game here in Cincinnati. And then you and Zach are coming very soon after that. So I picked up a weekend shift to kind of get ready to start my 27th year with a bang, or at least surround myself with loved ones, which I'm very excited for. So I guess that's my highlight. This next month's going to be filled almost literally to the brim with hopefully good tidings and cheer.
Good, man. Yeah.
I'm a thankful guy. I'm a lucky guy. The birthday was just fine. I ate fish tacos and drank whiskey, and that'll about do it for my happiness. Yeah.
So I had a pretty good weekend. My sister was in town. It was a really busy weekend, so it was a little hard to get in all the time with her and her boyfriend, Johnny, that I wanted to. But some really amazing things happened over the weekend.
Ooh.
The first one, I got to see the new iPhone X, which was a lot of fun. I almost bought it, which I shouldn't. But that was fun. But the crazy news that I told you about that I think maybe Matt might appreciate, I don't know if anyone else really will, but you're aware of the Tesla Model 3, right?
Dude, am I aware of the Tesla Model 3? No, of course not. But I'm interested. I'm listening.
Okay, so the whole goal of Tesla is to make affordable electric vehicles. Like, you can argue that none of their cars are affordable, but they've all paved the way for their new Model 3, which is like the $35,000 car, which is like a half the price of like a Ford F-250 truck or something. It's relatively affordable. There have been over 500,000 reservations, and only I think 250 have been delivered. And the owners of the cars had to sign in, NDA, where they're not allowed to take pictures of the car. Like, everything is such a secret right now. Like, people hardly know what is even in the car, like what it looks like, what it feels like. And I got to sit in one over the weekend. It was, I know it doesn't sound like a big fucking deal, but it is, because when I found out where this car was and I showed up, I felt like I felt so unwelcome. Like, people weren't supposed to know that this car was here and existed, and it wasn't in my shop. No one, they're like, dude, if you tell anyone about this, where this thing is, you're done. You'll get fired, right? They said I could take pictures. Couldn't show them to anyone, and I haven't. I stayed pretty true to that. But, dude, people are dying to know what this car actually looks like, and get in one, because so few people have. They might be the rarest car in the world right now. And I got to sit in one, and it was just so cool. So few people can say that they have. Maybe literally hundreds can say that, and it was amazing. It was so cool. Yeah, it was great. It kind of sucks that I can't really tell and show people the pictures, or go have them see it with me, but it felt amazing, and it made me really happy, just knowing how rare of an occasion it was, and it made me more excited to eventually get one.
Well, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
Song of the week.
John. God, I didn't. It's been a rough week.
Yeah. What even were they? Did we make a pact to listen to Julian Baker and then talk about it?
I don't know, but I noticed that I actually forgot to put the songs of the week in the show notes. So I did a real bad job last week.
Oh, well, that's okay. Okay. I will say this. I recently went on a ticket buying spree, and I got tickets for Kevin and I to see the Browns and the Bengals late in November. But I also got tickets to see Weezer and the Pixies in Cincinnati next year for $20, which is pretty good.
Oh my God.
I know. And actually, Weezer, I mean, whatever. Save your hot takes. I don't give a shit. Like, f off forever. Like, it's, I don't know. I think White was a good effort. I think the first half of Pacific Daydream is actually decent. It was kind of weird. You know, like, they did a beach record in White, and then they had a bunch of beach songs left over before they were going to move on and make a new record called The Black Album, which is going to come out next spring. But they were, and like, instead of hiding it from their fans, they were just like, all right, here's the rest of the beach songs. And they called it Pacific Daydream, and that's what came out 2 weeks ago. I think there's 6, the first 6 songs are all right. I don't know. That's kind of why I made a point to buy the ticket to see him next year, just because since Red, is it? Or since Everything Will Be All Right in the End, I think there's been interesting music. I don't know. People have, like, it's kind of like, feeling really safe in saying Nickelback sucks, even though we all probably jammed to that Paperback Novel song, whatever the fuck it's called. Like, in the 90s, before Nickelback was Nickelback, that was like, oh, this is how music is. Like, Three Doors Down exists, so I guess this, I'll allow it. But now it's like, Blue, man, that's probably the best it'll ever do. It's like, well, yeah, Blue's like one of the top 50 records ever, right? So, yeah, sure. Anyway, it's been interesting since Everything Will Be All Right in the End. I'm really excited to see him. I saw him in Austin, I think, right after they came out with Everything Will Be All Right in the End with Katy, my sister who lives in Austin. And they looked old. They looked a little older. I was a little worried about them. And I don't think they opened with the right combination of songs. But the guitar work at the end of Everything Will Be All Right in the End was really good to see live. I was really excited about it. Anyway, I think if you listen to a Weekend, or I don't know if it's Weekend Woman or Mexican Fender, but it's intriguing. Like, they're just so productive. I think there's something to be said for that at the age they are, and they're just trying to reinvent the sound over and over and over and over. I would suggest, just if you're bored at work and have Spotify on your phone, giving Pacific Daydream a spin.
Awesome. Will do.
Or White, or Everything Will Be All Right in the End, just because, I don't know. Their last 3 have been interesting. That's it. Like, people love to rag on Make Believe, and what was that one where they named after that Lost character, and it was just a face of the actor,
I don't know.
Hurley or whatever. I mean, you're allowed to hate those ones, but it's been interesting lately, and as a Weezer fan, I got to say, I'm excited to see them next year.
Yeah, that'll be great. I mean, that's your fave.
It is, yes. It'll be my 6th or 7th time seeing them, so
oh my God.
Excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
For this week, I don't know. I've been trying to get more podcasts in, trying to catch up on a lot of things, but there's a band called Seaway that is like, I take back my statement about Story So Far being cookie cutter pop punk, because I actually really disagree with that statement. But this band Seaway probably is. I like them a lot, though. They get me stoked. It's like one of the bands that I can't listen to without just like jumping around. Their new album was total trash, but there's a song called Stubborn Love off of their first album called Colorblind. It's pretty catchy. It's, like everything you could hope for in a pop punk love song, but it's got a good beat. The melody's great. They have a really good switched up chorus on the last one that I really like a lot. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good song. It gets me excited. I don't think it's the most groundbreaking song, but I like it, and I've been listening to that one a lot. So let's go with that.
Are we going to make an effort to revisit Julian Baker, or is the consensus that she didn't tap into the magic that was on Sprained Ankle?
Well, it seems like she did for other people, but not quite for me. I've probably listened to the album 7 or 8 times at this point.
Really?
And there's
okay.
Yeah, like a lot. There's some parts that I really like, but I feel like they don't happen until the last 15 seconds, but then it only lasts a couple seconds and it's done.
Sounds like a Coheed and Cambria album or something. These past 7 minutes have been interesting, but was it worth that 20 seconds of interestingness? Anyway, I'm going to give it a few more spins just because out of respect to Sprained Ankle, but nice that it was a good week. It was a good birthday week for Weezer and Julian Baker to come out with new stuff to enjoy, so that could have been a highlight in itself, I suppose.
Sure.
But that wraps it up for me for the week. Was there anything else?
I have nothing to say other than the vacant apartment above me. Someone's taking a shower because I can hear the water running.
Okay. That is as good of a tease as any, folks, to next week's Bigfoot/aliens/ghost story episode that Tom's been waiting a while to do.
Like 40 episodes.
Yeah. No better way to kick off our quest for 100 or continue our quest towards 300 than to do one we've been waiting to do for a while now. So thanks for joining us. Again, we named a few of our better programs over the past 50 that might be worth revisiting if you care to. But it's been a pleasure to all the listeners, Aaron, and Aaron. Yeah, it's been a blast. Thanks for having me, Tom, and sending me this recording equipment in the mail one day and kind of subtly hinting that this is something you'd like to try.
Forcing your hand.
That's right. No, it's my pleasure to help. I love that the Nintendo show's getting off the ground. Good luck forever with this network.
Thanks, man. Happy 50. I honestly cannot believe it's gone this long. I can't imagine my life without it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it makes me really happy that there are some people who seem to look forward to the show.
Yeah, that's been honestly a very pleasant surprise. So keep tweeting, keep writing, keep listening, and we will just do this, I guess. So thanks, everybody.
Until you beg us to stop.
Yeah, exactly. There's take all the wallets, just cut it out. It was never about the wallet.
All right, dude. Well, I love you. And
love you too,
I'll
man.
talk to you next week.
Yeah. See you in a few more than that.
Ooh!
Bye.
Bye. And now a reading from the Ron Carnage Chronicles.
You want to do it again?
The Ronicles.
You should play that at the end of the episode, by the way.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Pat's useless countdown in the middle of the show. And now a reading from the Ron Carnage Chronicles.